Hello, it's Wednesday. Welcome back to Recall Knowledge presents Outlaws of Alkenstar, a show where Pathfinder enthusiasts play through your favorite adventure path. I'm your GM, Steve, and I'm joined by Ricardo, Richard, Ninna, and Tommy. Go ahead, everyone, and say, howdy, Outlaws.
Howdy.
Everyone joining us for the first time, welcome. And everyone who's been with us before, welcome back. We're happy you're with us again. Speaking of Ninna, we are absolutely happy that you're back with us again, too. We missed you last week.
We're back in America, bitches! America.
Ninna traveled 24 hours to be with us today, right? 24 hours straight travel time.
Fun.
Very nice. Well, we're already starting a little bit late tonight, so let's get rolling as fast as we can to get to our gameplay. Let's move on to our announcements. Our first announcement of the night. This episode is sponsored by Molten Hosting.
Molten
So
Hosting.
hot right now.
I'm really used to those really shitty Tom rolls that you do. When I heard blah 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 blah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mix it up. I should do jingle bells next time. Ching, ching, ching.
Just go to the store, buy jingle bells, whip them out, ching ching ching.
Yeah, I'm
it's the
gonna
season.
do that. So, speaking of being in the season, we are officially in the holiday season. And along with that, all your favorite holiday movie classics. Last week, we were able to show off a new feel-good Family Man story. Well, the reviews are in, the online buzz is real, and it's so hot, turns out Molten Hosting has even more coming down the pipeline. They are releasing more holiday shows. Can you believe it?
Nope.
Now, one thing is they have said they're going to tone back the product placement to make it a little more subtle than the first attempt, instead of hitting you over the head with the Molten Hosting like shoehorned in. But they definitely want to plant their flag in the season and make sure that you associate Molten Hosting with the holidays. And they were nice enough to send over a trailer for their upcoming Christmas movie, which has the working title Twit Hard. That's really weird. Well, let's go ahead and roll that clip, guys. It's Christmas Eve here at Peter in Silicon Valley.
Welcome to California.
And Pathfinder GM Johnny McLean is in town to see his wife.
Oh, Johnny, I've missed you.
It's supposed to be game night. Instead, he's going to have to save her.
Hey!
Sit down. I'm a legally distinct character from Elon Musk. And you know it's time for your code review. Nobody goes home, not even on Christmas.
Within this skyscraper high above the valley, CEO Alan Muskie has declared war on decent workplace environments.
I'm about to teach you a lesson in the real use of power.
They're as brilliant.
Sir, I printed out the last 3 months of my code commits and also every single email mentioning you in the last 6 months.
As they are ruthless.
Alan, I am the last employee left in content review, and I'm going home to my family. If you don't like it, you're gonna have to fire me.
Okay. You're exited. We all do it the hard way. Gunshot.
Now, the last thing McLean wants is to be a hero.
Where's Molly? Where did they take her?
But he doesn't have a choice if he's going to make it to a computer to play some games.
What does he think he's doing?
His job.
They've already shut down the Wi-Fi, and I need to get my server online. My game is in 1 hour. Who are you then? You're the most troublesome for a D&D player. Bzzt, sorry. Wrong guess, Muskie. Would you like to go for double jeopardy? Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Molten Cowboy? Yippee-ki-yay, Muskie Musker.
If he'd only used Molten Hosting, this could have all been avoided.
Hey, Johnny. How you holding up in there?
All things considered, rather be back in Alkenstar.
Enough! I want blood. Don't let him get to a computer or you're all exited.
Only Johnny can drive somebody that crazy.
He's an easy guy to like.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
And a hard man to kill. We mean catch. 80s explosion. The Molten Cowboy in Twit Hard.
Got invited to the Christmas party by mistake. Who knew?
Bad luck then, Molten Cowboy.
You know, this could have all been avoided if I just used moltenhosting.com. That lets me keep my Foundry games in the cloud. I'd be able to access them from anywhere, even crawling through vents of Tweeter headquarters. There'd be nothing stopping me. Not even a megalomaniac like Elon Musk.
Interesting. I shall purchase this molten hosting for 10 times the asking price and run it into the ground.
There's no need. In fact, just use the referral code Recall Knowledge.
One word.
At checkout,
One word.
and even you can get into the holiday spirit with a month of free service.
First order of business, changing that code to Emerald Mines.
Coming soon to a streaming service near you. And scene.
And
Congratulations, Molten Hosting. What an amazing classic to put out there into the holiday movie rotation. A remake of Die Hard, a legally distinct remake of Die Hard called Twit Hard. I mean, maybe I've never seen. Is there a movie called Die Hard? I don't know. I'm just kind of legally covering my bases here.
It's a Christmas movie, Steve.
It's a Christmas movie, the Christmas movie. I'm sure it'll be purchased any day now by Netflix. And big thanks to Molten Hosting for providing us a chance to play it first for you here on our show. Big thanks to Molten Hosting for sponsoring the show. In case you're not aware, Molten Hosting provides your Foundry VTT hosting in the cloud, so your game always runs smooth. You won't have to crawl through broken glass to get to a computer to start your server up. You can just do it from your phone wherever you are, and you're good to go. And every tier of service comes with backup options, easy access to your files, and you can start a brand new server up and running in just minutes from nothing to a full game. And it is 100% the service we use on the show, and it's a service that we recommend you check out too. Check them out at moltenhosting.com. And remember, at checkout, use that referral code Recall Knowledge.
One
One word.
One word.
And at checkout, you can use that code. And if you're a new service, you will get a free month on us for Christmas. I mean, this does happen year round, but it is Christmas and holidays right now. So go do it. Thank you, Molten Hosting. And just to reiterate, because I was once again handed a paper from our lawyers,
Who lives under Steve's desk.
it's always as a printer. I have a printer right here that just prints messages from my lawyers. They just want us to point out that, again, as last week, Alan Muskie, the CEO of Twitter, is absolutely a fictional character and is in no way intended to mislead people into confusing them with any other people out there, real or imagined, and any similarities, including blood money earned through emerald mines, are purely a coincidence. Wow. As was the entire underlying movie. What movie are they talking about? Oh, weird. Thank you from the lawyers.
I feel like Molten Hosting is going to have to make an account for this character that they're trying to put in all of these IPs, like a joke account. Well, I guess not a joke account because it'd be serious, and it would be named Alan Muskie, and like there'd be a picture of the character where everyone could see it, and then they would tweet stupid things, and it would look just like someone else who's legally distinct. And
That's not a, but like to do that, you would totally need some way to like be able to falsify some kind of verification system to prove.
Yeah, the verification system's probably way too hard. You can, I mean, it's got to cost like what, like way more than $8, right?
yeah,
Way
for
more.
sure.
Can you imagine just letting people impersonate anyone they want for $8?
Priceless.
Indeed.
Moving on before we get sued.
I'm telling you, that's the best PR for recall knowledge that you could ever
It's
have.
true. It's true. And thank you, CJ, with 19-month resub. Look at that. CJ's been here for 19 months. Thanks, CJ. That is awesome. Glad you're tuning in live for the first time for Cradle of Quartz. While we have your attention, make sure to check us out on A House Divided. This is a special presentation of Recall Knowledge, a 3-part event which takes place exploring the Raven Tree Estate. It is a 5e adventure. It's a Foundry exclusive module created by the minds behind Foundry itself and created from the ground up to be a fun experience designed especially for the digital space and for Foundry itself. It is a Foundry exclusive. Episode 2 airs this Friday, December 9th. And if you tune in live on the Twitch stream, you can have a chance to win a copy of the module thanks to Molten Hosting, as well as a chance to win a copy of the official dice made by the Rollsmith, another friend here on the show. So make sure to tune in. It's this Friday, December 9th at 7 p.m. Pacific, and the VODs will be coming out sometime in this month of December on YouTube during the holiday season. And just a reminder, we're still closing in on the 2,000 subscribers. I think as of this stream, we're less than 50 away from 2,000. So yeah, share your account with your friends. Tell them to go check out our silly show. Tag Elon Musk and he'll subscribe. I'm sure he'll appreciate the humor we have here on the show. And if you have a special idea that you'd like for us to do, because we promised at 2,000 subs to do a live stream with our YouTube community, but what that stream is going to be, we're leaving in the hands of our YouTube community. So go on there. I will not say the word that Rick hates. Go on there. Let us know in the comments what you'd like for us to do with you guys. I think it's time to play. Ready? You guys ready to play? Rick, you got the dance music finally working this week?
Hey, DJ!
Yes. All right, everybody. A little more. That's going to do it for announcements tonight. Viewers, go ahead and sit back and relax. And players, let's jump into episode 6 of Outlaws of Alkenstar, Cradle of Quartz, written by Scott D. Young. Here we go. Roll the clue. Welcome back to Cradle of Quartz. When we last left off, our outlaws had boarded an airship heading from the frontier city of Alkenstar towards the easternmost outpost in Alkenstar Holdings, Cloud Reaver Keep. From there, the outlaws plan to continue east towards the Spellscar Desert in search of a mysterious location known only as the Cradle of Quartz. However, In the midst of this peaceful journey, our crew, our outlaws, were interrupted by a strange attack by chimeric-like creatures. And in the ensuing chaos and confusion, our outlaws believe there is a saboteur in their midst. As a large chain was chucked into an engine, jamming it, rendering it broken, and leaving our ship stuck floating somewhere between Alkenstar and Cloud Reaver Keep. As the ship is immediately under repair by Nolby and Gebbin, and so as the goblins work hard to repair Nolby and Gebbin, I got it right. As they work hard to repair the engine, which they've given an estimated time of approximately an hour before you get going, there's no danger of the ship crashing. You guys are still floating. The only problem is with the airship here with no engines working, you're kind of at the mercy of the wind that's blowing you around. So you're kind of like drifting and like kind of aimlessly across the sky, but you're not in danger of like crashing. I just want to make that clear. You're not like plummeting towards the ground. The engines just propel you. They don't keep you afloat. That's the airship part itself, in which you guys are good to go. And we kind of open up on a dining hall scene where, per special demand by the outlaws, all of the crew and all of the passengers have been summoned to the dining room to discuss the events that have transpired. And the camera sort of fades in. We see this airship floating high above the ground, clouds sort of coming through you guys, through the little like glass on the side of the airship. We can see almost like heated argument as like Phoebe Dunsmith is immediately demanding to know what happened on her ship. And she's kind of looking to you guys to sort of inform her, because you guys have called this meeting. And I think we come in with you guys kind of having the floor. All eyes in this ship are on you, except for Nolby and Gebbin, who are at work up in the cockpit or in the engine.
Phoebe, what are you doing here?
Phoebe, did I say Phoebe? What's her name?
Why are you fucking following us? Go away.
Not Phoebe.
I
It's the
thought
other
you trusted us.
Farrah.
Farrah.
Aldo.
The fair Farrah Winslow.
Where's
Aldo
Aldo?
pops
Aldo,
out
you're
in the
here
bathroom.
too?
Fuck yeah,
I
Aldo.
was just using the bathroom and you guys took off.
Oh no. Okay, so I think with everybody assembled, I'm gonna. Serg stands up, scans everybody around, and then lean over to the outlaws at large. Someone should get up on the ballista in case there's more of whatever hit us. I don't like that we're just stumbles for a little while for the appropriate expression, then can't find it, stuck drifting at the mercy of the wind.
You all right there, Brent? Sorry, I feel better now. I am with you guys 100% from now on.
Wow, you actually did get out of that very manic, oh my god, there's so much stuff that I can play with,
I did.
and it's all crafty.
I mean,
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I think it's character development. Hang on. I hope so. I hope it sticks.
Your face looks a little less like Saruk's as well. Not quite as, green.
Was it green?
Aw.
That air sickness.
Oh, right. I knew that. Yes. And then looks to Effie, looks to Hal, looks to Effie, looks to Hal. One of you two, I'll give you my Giselle while you're up there.
Belle is carried by Celessa into the room, bleeding out, almost dead.
Medicine check with assurance. Medicine check with assurance. 2d8.
Right, what am I doing with this?
Head up top. If there's anything that looks like it wants to kill and eat us, do what you do.
Right, and I'm gonna gesture for Saruk to bend down a bit so I can whisper in his sweet nothings in his ear.
I take a knee. Wow, this got... This is actually Dream Daddies tonight.
Our fabulous bartender's hands looked a bit grimy for someone who's supposed to be serving food and drink.
Mm.
And I'll just head up top with the Giselle.
So I suppose that's where we start. Down to the fabulous bartender. Man, I'm so bad at remembering names. I should
Before
not be the
Saruk
face.
leaves, I'll ask Saruk. Saruk, should I keep an eye on these two folks right here, or should I just follow you?
Yeah, just keep an eye on folks. I scan where Hal is after being healed. Honestly, maybe you should take care of them. I don't know what those things were, but they took a bite out of them.
All right, you're all right here. I do want to go up there and make sure that the both of them are okay.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So I'll heal Halbrand for as long as I can.
Okay, yeah, you can go up and spend the full hour.
So
if
do
you
the
want, right?
hour. Okay.
Yeah, you can do the hour one. That's fine. So, Saruk, as you sort of approach towards Lucky, you can see him kind of sitting face down, staring at the desk. His fingers are tapping, his legs bouncing pretty nervously as you kind of step up towards him. And he looks up to you, and you can just see he's looking way up at you because he's just a little halfling. You're towering up. Yes, sir. What's going on?
Where were you when the monsters attacked?
I went to the place I felt safest. I head upstairs, and I was in the kitchen, sir.
I see.
I grabbed a cast iron pan off the stove, and I hid in the pantry. And I was, in case something came by, I was ready to get it.
I see. My associate tells me that your hands are a little more grimy. Can I? And nods and motions for can I see them?
Yeah, he nods, he hands over, he reaches up his hands towards you and is just kind of oh yeah, you can see as he hands it up. It's definitely got some a bit of it's kind of hard to spot actually, but you're looking specifically for it. You can see a bit of oily grime across sort of the palm of his right hand.
I see. All right, I'm just gonna cut to the quick here. I'm gonna use a pointed question. Did you sabotage the ship?
Did I sabotage the ship? Oh yeah, it was so you get to literally point a question. So he's in the process of telling you, yeah, I think the kitchen hasn't been clean here in a while, and then you shoot him with the did you sabotage the ship? So he must make a will save. Oh no, it's a diplomacy check against his will DC. Okay.
Which is we're starting off with a 23.
23. Okay. That is a success, but it is not a critical success.
So then they don't have to necessarily tell the truth, but they must directly answer, and then they get a +2 circumstance bonus on the perception check to sense motive that's going to immediately follow this.
If he attempts to lie to you, because if he makes a roll to lie to you, you have a bonus. Okay, and your perception DC is currently 19.
Yes, so I get the bonus. If he lies here, I'm gonna, because it feeds me a circumstance bonus to
21, right?
Yeah.
So if he attempts to lie to you, your perception DC gets bumped up +2 from 19 to 21, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's how it works. Okay.
It's an awkward are they rolling or am I? Either way around it.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So he looks up to you, and he says, "Sir, why would I sabotage the ship?" As he does this, you get no sense that he's lying to you.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just wanted to get out of danger.
I see.
I'm sorry. Did you think I had something to do with that up there?
Someone did. Just stay here for now. I smile and turn.
Sir, come here really quick. Come here. Come down here. If I were you, I'd look into those goblins. I can't say I trust them very much.
Did you see something?
The afternoon before we set off, the two of them, I caught them in a bar, not Farrah's bar, another bar, having a conversation with some hooded figure. I didn't get a good look, but it didn't sit right with me at the time. But I'm the new guy. I couldn't say anything. I mean, they have access to the engine rooms, and I just think we should keep an eye on them.
I think I would like to sense motive on that. Do I have the pointed question buff still?
I'll give you the pointed question bonus, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Let me just cry that doesn't stack with pursue a lead, and then add it, and roll a blind thing. Question marks.
Yep. And this is sense motive.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually reviewing sense motive because it comes up so much, and I was interested to learn that you only really learn if the outright lying on a critical success, right?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. I did not realize that. So I will say what you get from this roll is there's nothing like jumping out at you in his behavior. I mean, he's a little nervous, but you don't get a sense that he's actually lying. You believe that he's telling you the truth, that he really does think something's up with the goblins.
Gotcha.
The flip side too of the whole like sense motive thing is like if someone lies to you, they should be making active rolls anytime they try to lie to you, and then beyond that, the sense motive comes in. So it's kind of balanced out by that fact, I guess.
Yeah,
it's
it's so weird, like who is attacking and who is defending, and the back and forth.
Yep.
It's either way around. You got it.
Social battles. But in this case, you walk away from the situation. Something's like he's being a little cagey, a little nervous, but you do believe that what he's saying is that there's something up with the goblins, and you don't believe that he necessarily had anything to do with the sabotage.
Gotcha. So then I'll turn to Gattleby. All right, sir. I'm going to make this really quick. I'm going to say, hey, did you try to fuck up this ship? And you're going to say a really snarky no back to me, and I'm going to believe you. Sound good?
Why the fuck would I try to blow up the ship?
You're getting off script, Vashon. Did you try to fuck up the ship? The pointed question again.
Yeah, it was me.
I think you were lying.
Well,
Ruffy's head pops down. Can I shoot him now?
No, god damn it. So 28 over the deception DC.
yeah, you're pretty sure that when he says he did it, he's being sarcastic and not. Yeah, he's being smartass. You don't, and he's being smartass, but there's a chance you look beyond that to see is he like hiding the truth in his sarcasm. But no, you just get the sense he's the same annoyed Gattleby as usual.
Never change, Vashon Gattleby. And then on to the halfling couple who are trying to do trading things in the keep, I think. I see.
Yeah, they are halfling merchants. They got their textiles. They're headed to Cloud Reaver Keep to try to. I guess it's not just Cloud Reaver Keep. They're gonna stop at Cloud Reaver Keep and try to make some business connections, and then otherwise they're just looking for like a vacation.
Makes sense. So then, as I approach them, could I do another sense motive to just kind of like vibe check the pair of them to see if they have the stomach to do what they just did?
Sure. Is this before you do any sort of pointed question on them?
Yeah, before I start talking, just as I'm walking up.
Yeah, you walk up and you can see them sort of whispering to each other, and they're like holding hands across the table. And as you come up, you see them sort of like let go of each other's hands, and they both sit up on opposite ends of the booth. Literal like sweat sort of dripping down their brow, and as you step up, you can tell that they are very nervous.
You folks okay?
Sir, there's just been a lot of excitement. This is supposed to be like a sightseeing journey. We didn't sign up for our ship being attacked and gunfire.
Yeah, neither did we.
And now you guys are saying there's sabotage? We were kind of thinking maybe we should get off at Cloud Reaver Keep if it's not safe.
That might be a good idea. Where were y'all, by the way? During the attack, I mean.
We were up in the game room playing chess, as a matter of fact. Styria here, she's much better than me, but I'm learning. And you see her, she sort of like smiles and she like looks down at her feet and she doesn't even want to like seem to like look up and make eye contact with you.
Here's all the blind rolls that I've ever made in my whole life were sense and motive. Or rather, I think in this case, I'm trying to determine if they're lying.
I think in this case, what you sense is... So you look at how this is shaking out. There's obviously a bunch of nervousness here, but you get this nervousness seems to genuinely be about the circumstances and the ship being in danger and them being out of their element. You don't get the impression that they are lying about what they were doing during the events. At least at face value, they don't seem to be lying to you.
Gotcha. And then lastly, I'm going to throw the pointed question again. I'm even going to remember where to click it on my character sheet. So, Prince. Yeah.
Investigators.
Did you all see anything during the attack? Anybody not where they were supposed to be or anything suspicious?
Your pointed question, sorry, I left my brain. You asked if they had anything to do with it. Oh, you asked if they saw anything
Had they seen anything suspicious during, yeah.
suspicious. I mean, nobody else was in the game room. The only person I heard some strange noise coming from the room across from us, the lounge, but it might have just been that big robot and the girl that was sick.
I see. Anita's not directly behind me, but it would be funny if she was.
Besides that, Lucky came through. He fled through our game room shortly after the commotion and took off down the hall towards the kitchen, I guess.
I see. And the kitchen is definitely like on the way, right? That's not weird.
If you trace the route right from the bar that he was at, the closest staircase takes you right up into the game room, which then leads to the hallway, which then leads north towards the kitchen. So the pieces, there's nothing outwardly that catches your eye. Like all of that could fit.
And I'll tap the badge again. This badge says you're safe. Don't worry. I'll figure it out.
Esteri, who's been really quiet the whole time, like kind of reaches out and like puts her hand like on your arm, and you can just see like tears sort of like welling up in her eyes, and she says, "Do you promise we're safe?"
I can't promise that implicitly, but I can promise if shit goes pear-shaped again, we've got you.
I think we're just gonna hang out in our room until you guys get to the bottom of it, if that's okay.
Stay here first. We want to make sure everybody's in one place. Much easier to have your back if shit goes pear-shaped, if I know exactly where you are and everyone's in one spot, right?
And so while you're kind of going around, you've at least chatted with all these people. Like everyone else has kind of gone. Like Refi's on the roof with the ballista, right? So you're up there, Refi. The ship's sort of aimlessly drifting, right? The door that like is normally locked has not been locked and secured since all this went down. So you're able to go north, sort of up the hallway, past the rooms, past the captain's quarters, past the kitchen, to the stairwell that leads you up into the catwalk, which then leads you to the other the other ladder, which takes you up onto the roof. And after all this, you get up there and the wind sort of blows your hat back. Oh, you didn't have a hat anymore, do you? That's true. Interesting. But you're up there and you can feel the breeze. The ballista's there. It's kind of awkward to do it by yourself, but you're able to sort of get the feel for it. Basically, it takes, to review, right? It takes two actions. God, that's a weird sentence to say. It's 2 actions to load, and it takes 2 loads to fully load the thing.
I've got this Giselle, and I'm hauling it up here. This bloody thing's taller than I am.
Yeah, and up there, it's really beautiful. Like there's clouds that kind of you're kind of up in the clouds, so there's little cloud cover, but you're kind of set. Why don't you give me like an active perception check here, secret active perception check, so we can see what you notice while you're on guard duty.
Perception. Gotcha. Question marks.
Question marks it is. Okay, so you keep watch for a while. Immediately you're on edge, but after a few moments, you don't notice any other things flying in the sky. There's no like large chimeric type creatures. They seem that you guys have driven them off. I think what happens is you hear like sort of above you, like a rainstorm sort of breaks out. As you look up, you see like drops of water sort of coming towards you. And then when they're about like 12 feet above you, they sort of like just dissipate, almost like they're hitting like an invisible force field. And you're just hit with this strong, intense scent of lilac.
Bloody weird up here. Look down. I don't think even I'd be able to survive that fall. Flying was a bad idea.
But for the moment, it looks safe and secure, and you're just there on watch in case something comes. You'll be like the early warning detection system. I think back down we have like Hal, who has very rough, very much on the edge of like dying and barely being unconscious, and Anita is sort of treating wounds on Hal, spending like an hour doing that. So Hal, are you in like Celessa has taken you back to her room, and there's 2 beds in the room, so she's put you in one bed. And Celessa has kind of bunked up in the other bed. And Anita's in here sort of treating on Hal. What does that conversation sort of look like between the 2 of you?
All right, so remind me again what happened.
These reindeer.
Reindeer.
Blood in their mouths and like lions' hindquarters and wings came out of the sky and looked at me. And then you see the shadow here, and Hal has a shadow that kind of pulls the blanket up over his legs. Kind of did the same kind of thing. And then he bit me really hard twice. Before I knew it, I woke up and Celeste was holding on to me, and Reficule was smiling down at me because I had opened my eyes. I have no idea. It happened so fast. Remind me never to buy one of them firearms things. I'm terrible with them.
Oh, you tried using a firearm? Wait, so was it just one of them, or?
No, there were at least 2 of them, maybe more.
Are they typical over here out on the desert, or was that the first time you've seen one?
Have I ever seen one of these before?
Make a recall knowledge check. This would either Arcana or Nature, unless you have a specific. Oh, you know what? Mana waste lore, right? Yes, mana waste lore. Go for it.
A reindeer and a lion.
11.
Yep, that's what it was, a reindeer.
Definitely a reindeer. They typically come from like the North Pole, and they like travel with elves quite a bit.
Yeah, gave me a gift.
Not anything you're familiar with. It's not uncommon to see weird mutated things in the mana waste. Like things get mutated like crazy out there. So it's more like you're more likely to run into new strange stuff than common strange stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the first one bit me. Well, that one bit me right here in the side, and then kind of here on my shoulder here to help me get out of some of this stuff.
All right. Do you feel that you could maybe be poisoned or something by the bite?
No.
Look out for rabies.
Feel fine. It was a pretty clean strike, to be quite honest.
All right.
Definitely very jagged bite wounds, but no signs of like lingering effects from the wounds. As you kind of do a medicine check, Anita, it looks to be in the clear at least.
Well, I think as you help Hal with his blanket and his shirt, what you see is a very pale body crisscrossed with scars, like a ridiculous number of scars.
Is that all from the reindeer?
This was from when I was younger. And he's got a tattooed sleeve on his left and right arm, and it looks like clockwork gears. And there's a picture of Saruk, Reficule, Anita, and Hal kind of standing there in front of the sun on his shoulder. And on his left arm, he has the same kind of sleeve, except for there is a white wolf with a moon behind him. And in front of that white wolf is the new Anita, as if he's standing protection over. But then you look back and there are scars like crisscrossing from just under his neck all the way down to where his rope ties his pants on his self.
If you don't mind me asking, Halbrint, how did you get those scars? You weren't like abused as a kid or something, were you?
Not by the tribe or the pack, as it were. I grew up a long way from here, out in a mountainous range. I used to hunt for game, take the youngsters out and take them from the more inhospitable areas and move them across shattered lands, I guess is the best way I can put to them. And there's a lot of, you've seen here in the desert, just picture that in the midnight darkness of the Plane of Shadow. And yeah, I kind of got in over my head a couple of times.
So you were in you used to live with one of the packs that would roam around the outskirts of the desert. Oh, that would roam around the desert. You think we'll pass by them, or flying about?
Assuredly guarantee we won't pass by any of them.
Oh, would you want to pass by them sometime after all this craziness?
That would require a lot. I'd have to go back to the Plane of Shadow, which is where I'm
Plane
from.
of Shadow.
Yeah, when I was out doing one of those hunting reconnaissance, taking kids from one side to the other. We were assailed by this storm of all these different colors, and before I knew it, the light of day was upon us. I'd never seen anything like it before, and we were all in this middle of this desert. Giants running back and forth as far as I could see. So we made our way down. Well, most of us. Well, not really most of us, just me. I was the only one that made it. And that's where I kind of picked up learning how to forge this stuff out of the desert. And them dwarves at that place really like to get stuff out the desert. So.
That sounds like a hard life.
Oh, it's nothing.
No, it's pretty hard. I wouldn't have survived it. I got shot once and I died.
I'm going to make it back to Ansalon so I can cross over there, because there's supposed to be a large community of Kale there.
Ansalon, not Absalom?
Absalom, Ansalon. I'm new.
So it is Absalom. All right, this is going to sting a little bit, so just hold your breath, and then I push into one of the deep gashes that he has on like one of the sides of his ribs. I swear I'm not doing this intentionally. I really do need to keep pressure on it.
As you're doing this, and Hal's like sitting there, shirt off, you know, pretty, like, Hal's usually pretty covered, but you can see he's pretty built under there. Kind of in the back of the room, you can just see like Celessa like sitting on the bed, like watching this unfold, just kind of taking in all that Hal has to offer. And you catch that out of the side of your eye, Anita. But you're kind of interrupted. There's like a knock. There's like a little bit of a knock on the door. And there's like a cloud of smoke. And you see Farah like in the door frame, like watching this, like smoking her cigarette. Anita, got a minute, dear?
I'm holding on to my friend's wounds. Are you all right with talking with him here, or do you need me alone?
It's up to you. You fine talking in front of them?
Yeah.
All right. Listen. I just want you to know you're currently a suspect. Your whereabouts are unaccounted for during the chaos. I got some people that saw some stuff that's a little questionable coming out of you. Did you do it? And why? Why hire me and then sabotage me?
That's a good question, because I would ask you the same thing. I was out sick.
So they say. Not one for the high winds?
Unfortunately. I was hoping I could at least survive the first day, but not even an hour in, and I was throwing up my guts.
Let me ask, that robot of yours, what's his name?
Why, but?
He's not here right now, is he? I don't see him.
Oh, he
He's
couldn't
pretty
fit.
big. Right. He's a clockwork. He takes orders from you, right? He's functional away from you.
To a certain degree, I suppose. Well, yeah, yes. It depends on how far.
Yeah, just curious. Not outright accusing you, just know.
It sounds like you're accusing me of something.
I've got my eye on you.
I don't know why I would, though. We need to get somewhere. It doesn't make sense for me to destroy any of that.
Well, why would anyone here destroy it? It doesn't make sense. But someone did.
It's not me.
Can you do me a favor? Give me a diplomacy check. As you try to sort of plead your case, make an impression on Farah and see what she thinks of you after a little bit of conversation.
It's a good thing Saruk sent Refi up top.
That's a natural one, but I would like to use a hero point.
All right, let's hear a point.
This seems important. She's the captain of the ship. There we go. A 20.
Okay, 20. She sort of looks at you, nods. There's bleeding right there. You missed the spot. And then she sort of turns, and you hear her boots sort of walking off down the hallway. as you continue treating on Hal, but now you kind of get the impression that Farah's not entirely trustful of you, Anita.
Farah's not entirely trustful of me, Halbert.
Hal quits grating his teeth. That hurt more than you said it wouldn't. I was biting down
Sorry.
on this leather strap so I wouldn't cry out and or bite Farah for accusing you of something that you clearly wouldn't do.
I think Saruk is trying to get to the bottom of it, though.
Smash cut
Trust
to
me.
Saruk getting to the bottom of it.
So at some point, I guess when Farah comes down, I'll head over, switching to Dwarven as I do. So you trust your entire crew?
I do. I wouldn't put my life in the hands of anyone I don't trust. Dezen, he's the... Well, I mean, he's gonna take over for me someday. Actually, that day's probably at the end of this journey. She turns back and looks at him. And you see, like, in the back, like, Dezen's, like, piloting the ship. They're trying his best to sort of use the one engine he can to kind of counteract the winds. But he looks like he's overwhelmed. And she's like, too old for this shit.
And you can account for where everybody was during the attack, I presume.
Well, Dezen and I were in the cockpit the whole time, keeping a handle on things. I'm assuming Nolby and Gebben were in the engine room. That's where they always are.
I had one of them up on the ballista with me.
So one of them was left alone. Interesting.
You think I ought to talk to him?
I mean, they've been with me for about 5 years now. I don't know why they'd go and start some shit now.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll go poke my head up there. Would you mind keeping an eye on these four and keeping them sat down?
What about those two? And she kind of points with her cigarette hand towards the sort of merchant couple.
Yeah, what about them?
I don't know. It seems strange. Like, not the kind of folk I usually expect to take a journey into the spell-scarred desert, you know?
Yeah, well, when we had to pull some paying customers out of our asses at the last second so we could avail ourselves of your ship, well, you should have seen some of the other people that came by. This was the better option, trust me.
There. Just... Were their whereabouts accounted for?
Yeah, they were hiding in the game room.
Let me ask you, Saruk.
Mm-hmm.
How well do you know Anita?
As long as I've been in Alkenstar, more or less. We've gotten hip deep in a lot of shit together. I trust her. I also, with incredible frankness, I'm not sure if Anita has the capacity to lie, or at least lie well. I think at some point there would be a very frank explanation of the truth couched in a really bad lie that you could smell from a mile away.
Fair. She did kill a guy, didn't she? That's word on the street, at least.
I mean, it's Alkenstar.
Fair enough. Well, if you find any evidence of any wrongdoing, bring it to me. Otherwise, the best we can do is keep a close eye on our friends and keep our enemies closer. And she sort of narrows her eyes at the little halfling couple.
I don't think they would hurt a fly. Oh, hey, actually, you know, I say the name of the gnome whose name I don't remember.
Lucky?
Lucky, yeah, thank you, Anita. You're a gem. Lucky said something about how the goblins had, it was right before we took off. They had some shady dealings off the ship. Said he saw something. You didn't see anything, did you?
I mean, I didn't, but I'll be honest. I don't think shady dealings are that out of character for my crew.
Fair.
In the last few years, we've had hard time making ends meet. They've gotten, I guess, creative in their endeavors, and so long as they don't interfere with my business, I tend to look the other way.
Fair. All right, I'm gonna go check on them, and then Lucky had some grease on his hands, and he claims that's from getting a cast iron to defend himself with if those things got to the kitchen. I'm just gonna run quick, check the pans, and see if they haven't been cleaned. Or maybe I'll just ask you, do y'all wash your dishes, right?
I mean, are you with the health marshal?
No.
I mean, I would say they were washed very thoroughly the last time they were used.
That's fair. All right, I'm just gonna take a look.
Beyond that, it's Lucky's job.
Okay, keep an eye on them, would you? And up the stairs we go.
Yep.
Up. That is so cool. I need that module. That module is giving me life. So next order of business is I'm gonna run to the kitchen.
Yeah, so the kitchen is at the end of the hall, like going north, and then the last room's on the left.
Gotcha.
It's sort of like a kitchen. You can see they've got like it's a combination kitchen, dining room, and storage room. It kind of looks like almost a break room for the crew back when this was probably when it was in use more and it was stocked with a full crew. Right now, it's kind of running a very bare bone skeleton crew just to get you guys where you need to go. Yeah, there's basically a full on cooking utensils, pots, pans, all of that. It's not stocked to the gills or anything, but it's got enough food for you guys to survive your journey to and from the Spellscar Desert.
That's good. Do any of the utensils look like they're out of sorts, out of place?
Let's do a perception. Let's do a search activity as we spend some exploration time trying to see what we can...
Man, of all the times that I have definitely prepared cooking lore for that free lore, I wish it was today.
Yeah, it's already pilot lore, unfortunately.
Yeah. I figured that would be more useful for the airship. All right.
That's true. But you have some cooking experience in your background.
22.
With a 22, there are definitely, for the most part, it looks like the pots and pans, everything has been scrubbed decently. We're not talking pristine, brand new condition. Everything is definitely well used and well loved. But it does look like somebody has given them at least a decent cleaning before this ship took off. There is a lot of surfaces in here where it'd be pretty easy to get yourself dirty. Like the cooking surfaces are clean, but like behind the stove on the side, there's like a pile of coal, like right there. Like there are plenty of places you could actually get your hand dirty. But I will say, you don't find any sort of... None of the cast iron pans are covered in sludge or grease or anything that you think would cause your hand to get dirty just from grabbing it.
Makes sense. So then just to test that theory... Well, I feel like I don't think it would, then I won't actually grab them. Okay, so then with that in mind, next up is... the two goblins who the syllables are... mishmashing together. They're the real
Nolby
creatures.
and Gavin.
Nolby and I almost said Golby. Heck.
Yep. So you can go ahead and move up to the ladder. To use the ladders, you have to click the book because I don't want to force you to move up a ladder.
For sure. This is so cool.
Yeah, you kind of like walk down. Ruffy's here too. Or Ruffy, you can go down to the other one and go up to the catwalk if you wanted to check it out at least. So I think at this point, like they're both in the sort of engine. As you come down this hallway, you would probably need to make a right and go west, and you would see the door sort of open. And as you step in, you can feel like the wind sort of rushing up. The engine is sort of like starting and stopping, and it seems like they're pretty much close to getting it working. But the two goblins, and it's kind of amazing because the engine is sort of free floating in the middle of this room. It's attached, right? But below it, there's a little catwalk around the room, but below the engine, it's just a drop to open air to the ground, like 100 feet below. And the goblins are like just jumped up and like sprawled on the machinery, like almost hanging upside down, fixing it, just hanging there over this like drop to their death. And they just look to be working away.
You two are some of the bravest people that I have ever met. Hands down.
They look over to you. Toss me that socket wrench right there. Right there. No, the socket wrench.
I pulled a socket wrench from my own, make sure I have that kit. No, fuck, I sold my crafter's kit. JK. I grabbed the socket wrench. I toss it up their direction.
Yep. And they grab it, and then he's like back, and he's like tightening like some bolts on the bottom of the engine. It's not safe in here. Crew only.
Yeah, I'm On permission from the captain, I nod towards Nolby was the one who was with me. That rhymes, and that's how I'll remember it. So I look over to Kevin. I'm just doing the rounds. I presume you were doing your job during the attack and, didn't want to send us all careening to our deaths or slow us down or anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, my job's to keep the other engine working. This is Nolby's engine. Notice she slacked and we all paid.
I mean, I feel like she helped me and we all got to live, but I see your logic.
Did you find who did this yet?
Working on it.
I mean, it's not like chains just fall randomly out of the sky. Well, actually, that does happen sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like looks at the construction, shakes it off. So Lucky said that y'all were a couple days ago you had, and I'm not one to judge, and I'm not gonna report you to the shield marshals when we get back, but something about shady deals with somebody. You button. You didn't meet with anybody before this that might have wanted the ship to go down.
They kind of look at each other and they look back.
This is the coolest ability. 27.
Ooh, 27's pretty nice. 27 against their will save. That's a critical success. They must directly answer the question. You get a +4 if they attempt to lie to you. Immediately, they're like, Lucky. Don't trust anything that guy says. He'll sell you up the river for a quarter. We didn't meet with no one. And so you have a +4. Any sort of checks that might be coming your way. And with the +4, what's your perception?
That would take it from a 19 to a 21 to 23.
23. Okay. As they give you this answer, you've got no reason to distrust them. They feel like they are giving you the truth. Both in that the pointed question was specifically, were you meeting with him that wanted to take the ship down? No. But you also believe when they say that Lucky would sell you up the river for a quarter.
How long have you known Lucky, by the way? Has he been working with the crew as long as y'all have, or?
We've been on the crew for 6 weeks now? And then the socket wrench flies across and hits Nolby in the head. 6 years! 6 years! She's like, yeah, whatever. Years, weeks, I don't know, whatever. 6 units of time. But yeah, we've been around. There used to be a whole engineering crew. We were the best. That's why we're the only ones that still have our job. Lucky. I mean, that kid's only been around for 6 years? And then there's another tool flies across and hits her in the head. 6 weeks! God, listen. 6 weeks. Lucky he's the new kid. All right? Been around for a while. This is his first flight in the air. He's been around the bartends, keeps the place clean. Has aspirations of owning an airship someday, but no, I don't trust that kid.
All right.
I don't trust any of you.
Thanks, jeez. I'm just gonna really quickly, when they say that, I'm gonna sense me some intent.
Okay.
I'm calling this +4 from the one more thing ability Columbo, because I feel that's what this is.
The Columbo ability.
Just one more thing. More question marks.
Yeah, as you listen to the words and you sense motive, like all the other people you've checked today, it doesn't feel like they're lying to you. They seem to be truthful. You do get the sense that maybe they're not telling you 100% of the truth here. There's something a little bit that they're hiding. Their body language and their deflection kind of gives you the sense that maybe there's something there, but you do not believe that they had anything to do with bringing down the ship.
Gotcha. Well, thanks, you two. Before I go, actually, I think you missed a spot. Hiya! And then...
Yep, with that last clue in ability, they kind of go over, they tighten the last bolt, and there's a rumble as the engine sort of sputters to life, and you watch as Gebbin has to jump for his life before he gets caught in the gears, and he's like seconds from being ripped into this motor and like torn up, but he like jumps clear, and the whole thing starts sputtering a lot, like to like life, and it seems like the engines have been replaced at this point or repaired, and you guys are ready to continue your journey.
Saruk smiles in, oh god, we almost died, and then back down.
Yeah, no, like being in that room itself is dangerous, and like being on the suspended engine itself is a crazy thing to even like attempt. And these goblins were just doing it like it was nothing.
Just another toil day. Alrighty. I have to be on the ladder to use the ladder. That makes sense. This is such a cool module. And...
So you sort of reconvene down on the in the room. Hal and Celessa are, sharing a room. Nania's in there treating them. Phoebe's back on the flight deck with Dezen, preparing to continue to cover. You've lost a little bit of time, about an hour in your journey, but you guys are back ready to go.
You healed for a total of 30, Hal, in that hour.
Thank you.
So make my way back down. Try to get up there. Then back to Dwarven when I get to the captain. All right, Captain, I talked to everybody. The pans are clean. I think, and looks back to, well, no, it doesn't look back. That would be silly. The pans are clean. I have reason to believe that the new guy lied to me when he said he got greasy from wielding cast irons. I don't have anything definitive, but if I had to make a wild guess based on everything I've seen, that's a whole contradiction. Let me walk that back. I would guess Lucky.
I mean, Lucky's a good kid. What? Just basically, I mean, because he was a little cagey around the law. That's a little circumstantial, don't you think?
Yeah, cagey around the law in Alkenstar. I feel like he's justified about 9/10 of the time. I think Celessa is the 10. That's a whole nother can of purple worms. Yeah, that works. That's the best way to say that.
Let's not do anything hasty, but I'll keep my eye on the kid.
Yeah, I think it would be my recommendation to keep everyone either confined to quarters or where somebody who you trust can see them until we get to Cloud Reaver. Then from there, you don't happen to know anybody there, any other pilots, or like who owns the place we're landing.
I got all kinds of contacts. This is the fair Winslow.
Fair enough.
What, are you looking for some companionship?
No. I'm saying when we land, we talk to someone who you trust and who has enough authority to do something about it. Probably. Well, I guess it's your ship, and I guess I don't know the law here.
The law is, when we're in the sky, I'm the law. Without any proof, I'm not about to do anything to any of my crew. I'm more apt to put that Anita and those halflings over there off my ship. But you get some evidence, we'll have a different conversation.
Fair. Where is the chain?
She doesn't know. Probably with Nulby and Gebben, if I had to guess. You would have had a chance to look at it when you were up checking with Nulby and Gebben. It was definitely like sort of pulled out of the engine and just kind of strewn on the floor in the hallway outside the door, probably.
All right, hang on 1 second. I run, grab the chain. Run. Does the chain have like similar grease and stuff on it?
Yes. I mean, the chain, especially after being jammed up and gunked in the engine, is definitely coated in grease and grime and dirt. And I think Farah will also point out, like, so that's the chain right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that link right there with the symbol pressed right?
I examined the chain.
This chain is definitely one of ours. Like, it came from our crew. Like, only the crew should have had access to this. Or somebody with sticky fingers and a penchant for getting where they shouldn't be.
Fair. So then, does everybody who's crew, do they all have keys to the restricted areas, or?
Yeah, the only keys should be me and Dezen. Dezen has a key. Nolby and Gebben have keys, and Lucky would have a key as well.
I see. Well, that narrows it down to the crew, and that man has the same gunk on his hands, so unless he was trying to pull it out of the engine. Hard to do that if you were hiding in the game room or the kitchen.
Exactly. Per his story, he was nowhere near the engine room or anything, so.
Is this enough evidence for you, Captain, or would you like me to turn up something more?
Oh, this is not enough for me to toss my crew member. I'm not sussing him yet. We're not about to eject him out of the airlock.
Fair. That joke just hit me. God damn it.
I will say, maybe my crew's not as trustworthy as I thought.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this shit. And she goes back onto the. She calls back to like Dezen and she says, "Look, I'm fucking tired. I've been piloting all day. Dezen, you bring us into Cloud River Keep. Wake me up when we get there. I'm going to take a nap. It's the end of my shift."
Really quickly, it dawns on me I have not done any sussing out of the captain. I feel like I would like to. Question marks.
So you're like sense motivating on the captain?
Yeah. Just on the rough chance that maybe she wanted to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're sort of listening to her, the vibe you really get off her, I mean, you don't know her that well, but in the scheme of things, as you saw her behavior before and after everything kind of went haywire, you're not getting any sort of sense that she's acting out of her normal behavior patterns. And you don't catch any body language or anything that makes you suspect her. And I guess the main thing too is her like whereabouts have been at least confirmed to be with Dezen, but Dezen's the one character you haven't had a chance to even interact with. He's been on the flight deck most of the trip. I think when you first got here, Pharaoh would have like taken over for a bit. The way it works is like they have like 16-hour shifts that sort of overlap. So there's 8 hours where they're both on the flight deck, and then they each have 8 hours of the day where they're solely the one on the flight deck. So they kind of rotate in and out. You've only been traveling for like part of the day, so Dezen hasn't actually been off the flight deck other than when you first got here. He basically had the first few hours off, and he probably just enjoyed some drinks and probably stayed in his cabin. And then him and Pharaoh were on the flight deck during the whole chaos, and now he's going to be the one on the flight deck alone.
Makes sense. So before Pharaoh turns and goes to bed, if you need more evidence, I'd like to examine the crew's quarters, see if I can't find anything out of place. That okay with you?
By all means.
All right. You got keys, or?
I'll unlock it for you. So she like kind of guides you, takes you up. She goes to like where her room is, which is kind of right next to the kitchen. And then the crew's quarters is the room directly across from the kitchen. So she'll kind of go up there and unlock the door for you so you can kind of take a look.
As I'm doing that, hey, Hal, you good?
Just like new.
So not. Okay, got it. The pair of you want to come join me? I could use some more eyes.
Yep. He pulls on his gloves.
Yeah, so as you kind of step into that sort of crew's cabins, you can see there's basically like about half a dozen cots kind of sitting here. It's communal sleeping quarters. It looks like this is where like just the crew would just generally pick a cot and sleep, and they probably don't even have dedicated beds. They just kind of rotate in and out what's available when it's bedtime. But looking in here right now, it looks like only one bed sort of set up. It's got a blankets, pillow, everything. Lucky appears to be the only one actively using this room. Nolby and Gebben have their own quarters up in the engine section. And then the pilot and the co-pilot each have their own dedicated bedrooms as well. So Lucky, this has kind of become de facto Lucky's room for the time being. Which is also kind of annoying, because you guys didn't have beds, and there's all these beds here, and you were not offered one of these cots.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
29, nice.
Meanwhile, Reffy is just shooting clouds. A bird flies past the window and then falls dead. You ever heard the phrase "eye for an eye, pigeon"?
So as you're searching this room, you do notice that yeah, there's gunshots ringing off the top. You do notice that there are bits of tools engineering stuff, and there's tools and spare parts that the ship would use that would have come from sort of Nolby and Gebbin's engineering rooms upstairs. There are things that you saw upstairs, and you find them kind of hidden under cots behind things. Someone's been like stealing and like hiding things from the engineering room here in this bedroom.
So all of this shouldn't be here, and only Lucky has been staying in the master suite. We won't talk about how the beds are at a premium for the rest of us, dear Captain, but...
You turn around, she's already gone to bed. She like unlocked the door, and like you were like doing your investigation, she stumbled off to bed. She didn't sit here and wait. But you do find evidence that, Lucky seems to have been at least leaving signs that he's been getting into things maybe he shouldn't have.
I wish Syl was here. Syl could corroborate it with her nose.
One of the things you find is a sort of spoke, like a cog spoke that very clearly would replace like something in one of the engines. And as you like look at it and lift it up, covered in like thick coat, like a thick layer of grease with like a smudge right across the rim of it.
So here's a question. I'm going to turn to Anita. I present the chain. This chain was thrown into the engine. I'm not entirely sure what purpose this thing served, and I'm beginning to wonder if it was a little less lasso a fucking propeller and a little more catastrophic failure, chain fires out kind of thing. What do you think?
I take a look at it. First thing that comes to my mind is that it was trying to get in there to maybe destroy the propellers. Because imagine if you have this huge chain in between the propellers, it's just not going to move. I don't have engineering lore. Can I use academia lore to recall knowledge?
Academia lore. Flew in.
+1.
The aid is successful.
29.
And what is it you're trying to suss out here specifically? The cog, the chain, or what?
Like, what effect would the chains have when it comes to destroying the ship? Like, was the main goal to, like, catastrophic, like Saruk said, or?
You believe that if someone was to deliberately throw this chain into the engine, it wasn't like somebody was trying to crash the ship, because if you wanted to take the ship down and make it completely unflight worthy, the engines are not the way to do that, right? It would be mostly the pockets of gas that keep this thing floating, which is very easy to like pop. In this case, if somebody did this deliberately, it was more of it would have just had the intent of slowing you down more than sabotaging and crashing the ship. And there's no way that if you were to damage the engine, it's going to be repairable. So you're just talking about buying time, combined with the fact that maybe some of these spare parts are hidden here. Maybe somebody was trying to disable the engine and grab what they thought were spare parts that would prevent it from being repaired. But it definitely seems like the sort of intent would have been delay, slow you down, stop you from getting where you're trying to go.
Looking at everything, it seems as if the main purpose was to just disable the ship, and seeing all the tools that are in here, it's like whoever did this just wants to make it unusable. I'm thinking either they want to make it unusable or delay us. But at the same time, like, the crew doesn't really know us that much, nor do they know our mission to really delay it. So I'm leaning onto the fact that someone wants to disable the ship so that it's entirely unusable. So much so that they tried to keep the engineers from doing what they're good at.
That's fair. Maybe a little bumblebee fucking told him. It dawns on me that Farah is no longer watching the suspects. Would the pair of you mind picking this apart and then seeing what else you can find in the crew's quarters? I think I hear a problem calling me. And just going to out the door and go to where Saruk's token is sitting.
Okay. Yeah. You guys hear like loud banging. It's hard to hear from down here, but like way up above you, Ruffy's just been firing gunshots in the distance. He's just like shooting at random birds that fly by. And definitely getting bored up top. And the sun has gone down. right? It's been enough time. The sun's gone down. It starts to get really cold up there, Ruffy. Like up in the sky, no like heavy warm clothes or anything. Like as soon as the sun goes down, you feel the sort of like chill kind of wash over you. And I know like Saruk, you're being like very like impatient, like very not patient. You're being very watchful over the crew. Lucky at this point kind of says, "Boss, people are getting hungry. I gotta cook dinner. You want to help?"
Yeah, just sit tight really quickly. If I were to go to the bottom of the stairs and shout at the top of my voice, do I think my friends could hear me?
Probably.
So go to the bottom of the stairs and shout at the top of my voice, "Halbrant Beastwood, you're wanted on the flight deck. Halbrant Beastwood to the flight deck. Please."
I'm just looking at the under the beds.
Come on, let's go. Anita, I don't want you alone with Paris accusing you of doing anything. Come on.
All right.
We can come back. Be here. Ain't nobody staying here but Lucky. That's why they call him Lucky, because he's got a room to himself.
I know we should maybe steal some of the beds. Or maybe the mattress.
Kick him out, and then we call him Unlucky.
That's true. Well, throw him out of the ship. I've seen this game before.
I can accomplish that. All right, let's go. We head back down.
Yeah, you find Saruk calling up from the dining room. Poor Ruffy's like freezing up on top, like icicles coming down his like nose and stuff.
He has new piercings though.
It seemed clear, Ruffy, like nothing the entire time you've been up there, the hour plus you've been on watch, nothing dangerous has come.
Till someone calls me, I'm staying up there saying watch.
Saruk, it seems like Hal comes down with Anita.
Watch these folks, would you? I'm gonna go make dinner with my friend Lucky.
Lucky you.
Lucky me.
So yeah, sort of. There's like a montage here with like Lucky and Saruk sort of making dinner. Give me a perception check just as you watch Lucky while he makes dinner, Saruk. But there is sort of like the montage here of like the crew getting angry. You can see like Gattleby's stomach rumbling. He's demanding, like he looks at like Anita and demands that she makes him a drink.
I have a ration over here. I could give that to you.
Breaks at the hard tech. As we're doing that, I'm gonna, because I want to say it's been an hour since I last questioned Lucky, I think.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
I think Hal's gonna, once Bashan says that to Anita, Hal says, "Look at you drink. Come on." And he'll take him out to the bar.
Okay.
And he's sitting on the bar, and he'll reach down and grab like the stiffest, hardest whiskey he can, and then like get a cup, kind of spit on it and wipe it in his blanket and put it in front of him and like look him dead in the eyes and pour a drink. And then once he finishes, he'll put his hand on top of it. "If I see you talking like that again to the young lady, I will bite your head off." And I'll do beast shapeshift to become a white wolf that walks on two legs, and then change back, and then drink the drink and put it upside down and walk back out in the room, back into the room.
Give me an intimidation check. Or is there even intimidation? Is it just diplomacy? I guess it's
Intimidation with a +1 circumstance for pseudo lycanthropy.
You're taking like +2 circumstance bonus at least on this.
Bolts. Everything blows up.
Yeah.
Bolts.
Watch this. Roll though.
No.
9. So, I mean, he looks a little shook, but it's pretty tough to rattle Gattleby. It doesn't quite hit as hard as you would have hoped, but you can see there's some mutual respect that he has for you in his eyes. And then as you're leaving, he just kind of reaches over, grabs the bottle, and pours himself a drink in the same glass. And as you're going, he's just like, drinking it as well. But as there's like the montage and there's like dinner being cooked, Lucky looks, he gets really into like the cooking. Once you see him in the kitchen, like he very much knows his way around the kitchen. It's not like he's somebody pretending. to be a bartender, pretend to be a cook. He takes to this kitchen, takes to the meal, and starts flowing. And you guys kind of, while you're keeping a watchful eye on him, you do come up with a cool system. He knows his way around. He's definitely like concierge or something. And then during that, you sort of hit him with that like pointed question. And what was the pointed question you asked?
The question being, to make sure I frame this entirely correctly, the Lucky's alibi doesn't make sense because blank, and I don't remember what the blank was. I just remember that's the flag in my memory.
Right. His alibi, there was the couple saw him come running through, but there was nothing.
Farah had said something about how, well, if he was there when this was happening, but he said he was here. That doesn't make sense.
I don't think that was with Lucky, if I remember right.
It was something with the chain, the grease. Anita, you have the notes. Help.
No, Farah thought that it was fishy that both of the engineers weren't in the engineer room.
The goblins.
And we know why that is, because I borrowed one of them to reload a ballista. Okay, so with that in mind, I think the pointed question
so you get a +4 bonus, or you got a 32? Geez.
Yeah, that was a hero point well spent.
Yeah, that is absolutely a critical success. So he must directly answer a question. He doesn't have to answer truthfully, but you get a +4 circumstance bonus to your perception DC if he attempts to lie to you. Your perception DC with the +4 would be 23.
Yeah. And
what's the pointed question? Did you come up with the blank?
I haven't yet. What a good time to call the break so I can think of a really important fucking question.
We'll come up with what the question is during the break, and there is sort of the montage as you guys cook dinner served on the dining room. Everyone's able to eat. I think maybe Ruffy is finally called down. Like somebody calls out to Ruffy to come down and eat, and you're able to sort of come down covered in frost. Yeah, the sun sort of sets. You guys are floating towards Cloud Reaver Keep. We're in the middle of the night. The moon sort of comes out, and we continue our journey towards Cloud Reaver Keep as we play Among Us. Apparently, emergency meeting.
Among Us. Yeah.
So we'll figure out what your pointed question is during the break, and we'll pick up with that when we come back, as well as what happens post flight before we reach Cloud Reaver Keep. But while we're at break, take some time to support us here at Recall Knowledge if you can. Head on over to twitch.tv/Recall Knowledge. Just give us a follow, Prime subs, whatever you got, we'll take it. If you head over to youtube.com/Recall Knowledge, you're going to hit the subscribe button down below. We're only 50 away from our 2,000 followers. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, do it. Do it right now.
Do it now.
Do it now and send it to a friend and say, hey, subscribe to these people. They're cool. Support them. Support us. And it's a good time to catch up on the past shows if you missed, season 1, Punks in a Powder Keg, or the rest of Cradle of Quartz. Can't say that. Go back and check it out. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes with some more Outlaws of Alkenstar. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. See you in 10 minutes. And welcome back to Among Us, the RPG, aka Cradle of Quartz. So we sort of left on a cliffhanger as Saruk was asking a very pointed question at Lucky during the cooking, right? Like, you have the whole thing, you hit him with the pointed question. You were going to take the break to figure out what it is. Saruk, what is the pointed question?
Why did you lie to me earlier?
About what?
You know what
I didn't lie.
About. Do you want me to roll the sense motive, or are they rolling the deception?
He rolled the deception.
Oh, I see.
He definitely rolled a deception against. If you lie, right, you get a critical success. So he has to answer the question. You get a +4 circumstance bonus to your perception DC, and we said your perception DC ended up being a
23, all told.
I didn't lie, sir. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. And he looks back, kind of like going a little white in his face. It looks more like fear than deception to you. You don't get the sense he's lying to you.
Okay, so then, reading. I'm just gonna quickly shout out.
There's no signs of deceptions on him. He looks genuinely lost and confused as to what you're talking about.
So then, next thing, as Lucky, why can I not remember that name? As Lucky is like cooking and stuff, is the grease, is it coming off on handles and spoons and such?
As you guys were getting ready to cook, he sort of did a quick wash of his hands, and it looks like it came off pretty easy.
Fair. Nothing in the sink or...
He doesn't have any heavy duty stuff, so it's always on his hand a little bit, and it's kind of getting on anything he touches for the most part. There are traces of it, like you can see like where he's been and bits of grease. Anything he touched and handles in the kitchen probably has a little bit of sign that he was there for sure.
So then, since I'm helping him cook, I'm gonna grab whatever utensil has some, and then like bring it up to my nose and smell it.
Okay. It smells like thick engine grease, like the kind of grease that you would have smelled up in the engine room.
Engine grease on your hands, huh? Oh, by the way, speaking of engine grease, you're the only one using the crew quarters right now. I pull the cog that was like the very crucial, mega important part, and I spin it. How'd this get in the crew quarters?
I don't know. I mean, where was it anyways? In the crew quarters?
Oh, hidden real good.
I mean, obviously, I don't know what you're getting at, sir. I mean, maybe someone's trying to frame me.
Yeah, maybe. Hang on a minute. Let me look at my class features. Reading.
Why so polite now, Lucky?
Because he's...
as he says this to you, I mean, outwardly, if he's making like lie to you rolls, there's nothing outwardly on like showing. Either he's like a world-class liar or he's been telling you the truth this whole time.
Where is this happening right now? Is this in the kitchen?
They're about to bring the food down to serve to you guys, and this is happening like right in the middle of the kitchen montage.
And in walks Reficule.
Yeah. I think there's probably like I mean, maybe this is a smash cut to you guys like eating now, right? Like, I don't know how much more you're gonna like. What else you want to do with him, Saruk? I mean, you've like asked him a bunch of questions. Every time you've asked him a question pointed, he's come back with the truth, right? Like, as far as your roles go, he seems to be on the up and up, even with all your pointed questions and even with all of that. Like, there's obviously something going on with all the puzzle pieces you have, but as to what it is, it still seems hard to piece together.
Nothing to definitively pin down yet. Okay, so I was hoping Bonmo would make him a little worse at stuff. So I think rather I'm going to... I wish I had intimidating glare. Getting real tired of this, Lucky. You're nervous.
You're very intimidating, sir.
Thanks for putting that in my mouth. I'd like to demoralize him. Hacha! Chrysler has to give it. This is worth the second hero point. Let's get going. What a fun time to remind everyone in the chat that you can gift me. God! Well, 15.
I mean, 15 is enough to sort of like, you give him this sort of shake. Like, he definitely like sort of like almost like shrinks physically and like avoids making eye contact with you. And you can feel like he is absolutely been demoralized by you and kind of is a little afraid of you now.
So one more thing, then I'll leave you alone. Can I see the bottom of your shoe?
I really got to serve the food, sir. And he kind of tries to go like around you, but like you're hard to get around. Yeah, you're hard to get around, right? And he's got like a tray of food.
Hey, if you're being framed, this will almost certainly clear you.
Steps back and sort of lifts up the bottom of his shoe so you can kind of see the bottom of his shoe. What are you looking for?
I'm wondering if there might be engine grease from if someone was crawling around on the engine to make it go boom.
Perfect. Yeah. Give me a perception check with a... You're looking for a very specific thing, so I'll say take a +2 circumstance bonus. You might already get that anyways, just for being an investigator. I don't know.
I wish. I get a +1 all the time, but I will take my...
I'll give you a +2 based on all the clues you've had, and if it's there, right? You're looking for, like, if there's engine grease, it's gonna be easier to spot unless he's somehow hid it from you.
Yeah, or like I'm hoping it smells like it.
Yeah.
Come on. Ugh. Well, 17.
Yeah, looking over the bottom of his foot, there's no sign of engine grease. There's no smell coming off it. There's nothing on the bottom of his shoes that really show him being like on the engine or anything like that.
You have a hero point from I Watch Twitch 2018.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. I watch Twitch 1218.
Numbers. What do they mean?
So he's like, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm kind of just getting sick of this. You keep asking me all these questions like you don't trust me. If you're gonna do something, do it. But I gotta serve. This is my job. I can't put my job in jeopardy. And he like
right behind you.
Kind of pushes past, and you and him both come with a tray of food down the stairs, and they're sort of we cut back to the present where everyone is eating their meal that you guys have cooked for them. It's nothing extravagant, but it's enough to fill your bellies, and it's hot. And so the crew, the outlaws, the whole crew, everyone is sort of in this room. The only people that aren't here are the goblins up in the engine rooms. We have Dezen on the bridge, sort of driving, and like, you know, he's taking a plate of food and he eats up there. And then Farah is up asleep in her bedroom.
So he's the only crew member. So Lucky's the only crew member that's there right now.
Lucky, yeah, I guess that's true. It's all the passengers and Lucky, and all the rest of the crew is kind of doing their job. And Lucky is technically doing his job, which is sort of feeding, bartending, making sure all your guys' needs is taken care of.
So when we serve the food, I'm gonna approach the halfling couple. More fun stuff on the investigation. I'm checking everybody's shoes to see if there might be anything in there. Would y'all mind, just really quickly?
Shoes. They both kind of look at each other, shrug.
Oh wait, out of character, those are halflings. They might not be wearing shoes.
That's a good point.
This perception check's gonna be weird.
They say shoes, and they look down, and they don't have like shoes on, but they have like very like kind of fancy jewelry, like toe rings and stuff, like on their feet. They don't have any shoes, but they do lift up to show you the bottom of their shoe. Their feet, definitely dirty. You can give me an active perception check. You're looking for grease.
This investigation took a fucking turn.
Ruffy, you look across the room and you just see like these halflings put their feet up on the table. I know you don't really care for halflings.
Oh, fucking halflings. No manners.
15.
All right, 15. Yeah, no signs of grease or engine or anything other than, you know, normal halflings walking around barefoot in a fairly dirty, dingy place.
And there's a very quickly up. Thank you. And then excuse the heck out of myself.
Do you lean in and take a sniff to see if it smells like grease?
I honestly probably.
As you like sniff her feet, like the husband's eyebrow goes up a little bit.
I'm sorry, it's not weird. I'm a professional, he says.
But there's no outward sign.
He is just here like looking at Saruk weirdly. You get to know something new about a person every day, huh?
This is the day Saruk gets kink shamed out of the party.
And then so like the husband sort of lifts his feet up so you can smell his feet too, and the same thing. There's no sign of grease, no smell, nothing. Just as you're doing this, you kind of look slowly across, and then I think there's a table with like Ruficule and Anita and Hal just kind of like watching you with their jaws like drop just a little bit.
I'll stand up. It's not weird.
Figure anything out there, Saruk?
Yeah, one piece at a time.
When Lucky comes by to our table, I'm assuming Ruffy's there as well, right? So I just say out loud, Ruffy, did you know that we found like some tools, like engineer tools, inside the quarters of this man right here, of Lucky?
Did you know? Isn't that interesting?
While they're having this conversation, I'm gonna run the hell back up to the crew quarters and go picking through, see if I can't find like another pair of shoes Lucky might have wore or anything else that might be incriminating.
Let me get a bit more comfortable eating here. And I take out the pistol, put it on the table, and glance over to him with my red eye.
He looks at the two of you, and he literally like kind of like drops like the tray kind of harshly on your thing, which spills your food a little bit.
Oh, that's all right.
Somebody's setting me up. and he like kind of huffs and puffs and storms away.
Do I believe him?
Well, let's see.
I was also trying to demoralize him as well with intimidating glare, but
You can make the intimidating glare just check. What are your guys' perception DCs?
I'm not done with my questions. I wanted to talk about engineering. You seem so interested in it.
Oh, Anita.
Patsy. We are so good at Pathfinder tonight, guys.
You're really good at Pathfinder.
I think he storms away before I can even look at him.
Maybe he just avoids your eyes. I will say though, Anita and Refi, as he does this and he huffs and puffs, you both kind of look at each other with your eyebrows raised. You feel like he's putting on a bit of a show here, like he's playing up his anger at being questioned to cover up the fact that he might be lying to you. Like you both get the sense that when he says he's being set up, that he's not being truthful.
And then I look at the merchants that we brought and say, it's true. He's really interested in engineering, so much so that all of the stuff that they said that were missing were found in his quarters.
And I'm going to see their reactions as well.
Give me perception checks. A perception check as you watch them over. They're like watching you. They're not actually saying anything to you. They're just kind of like, they're just like nodding at you, like, yes, please stop talking to me, and then like eating their food as fast as they can. Yeah, and as you watch the two, you really get the sense not that they're hiding anything, more that they are just like, God, I wish everybody in the ship would just stop talking to us. We really are out of our element here. And they really seem to regret taking this journey, but nothing deceptive, nothing out of the ordinary. Their behaviors seem consistent with how they've been behaving.
I got a question for y'all. What are you guys going on about?
I think he's the one that did all the...
Did what?
Lucky. Put the chain in the engine. Made it go boom.
The little guy.
Oh, yes, yes.
Is that what you think?
Don't let the height fool you, Hal. Right? Halflings always count on people looking down on him.
I don't really care what they are. That little guy, he did it.
I think so, because Saruk said he had like grease on his hands, and then when we were in his quarters, like there was a lot of the things missing, the tools that you'd only find in the engineering bay. It's in there.
How do we know he doesn't know Mugland? What if they're related?
Ravi, not all halflings know Mugland. They're not all related. That's not how it works.
Do we know that for sure?
You could ask him, but there's so many halflings. Oh, hang on a second, we're trying to solve a mystery. Maybe we could help Saruk. Did Saruk tell us that, like, what's his name? Lucky would want his own airship as well? Did he say everything? That's in my notes right now.
the Gestalt consciousness that is the party. Yeah, at some point it makes sense.
Saruk's good at his job, but he's too trusting.
Saruk was doing his investigating, and Saruk said that there was this chain that was found in the engine block, and then there was grease in his hands, and then something about the goblin engineer saying that to not trust him so much. And then the tools. I'm thinking that what if, because Lucky also wants his own airship, what if Lucky was just trying to disable the ship so that Farah doesn't have her own ship anymore and that he could buy it at his own price?
Did we ask it under duress?
All right, I think we've been a bit far too polite. Why don't we bring him topside?
Yeah, grab. Isn't there a outside bar? Like, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the back of this level, if you go south, it basically opens and it's just open air thing. It's really cold out there right now, but it's not as cold as being on top of the ship. It's still pretty dang cold.
Wait, where's Lucky? Where's Saruk? Saruk's by himself.
Meanwhile, Saruk is just tearing through the crew quarters for any kind of evidence.
I think Hal's gonna. Once Lucky comes back, he's gonna grab him and haul his ass out the back and hang him over the edge and say, "Did you break it or not?" And if you say no, I'm gonna drop you.
So I will say what happens is, like, Saruk, you're going through the room. Give me the perception check. You kind of, while you're up there tearing through it, Lucky is like angrily stomping up to his room, and he walks in on you, essentially going through his like private stuff, and is standing in the door frame, like, kind of like, you know, just like, get the fuck out of my room. I'll tell you. You make your roll. I'll tell you if you find anything, and then immediately, like, Ruffy and Hal like kind of just appear right behind him in the doorway. With a 25, you don't find anything more than you've already found. Just this, like, you know, the very obvious bits of spare parts and tools from the crew's quarters that were stuffed in here earlier. That's all that you find, the same stuff you found before. But he gets angry, and then Ruffy and Halbrand show up and like sort of like just like manhandle him and drag him out to the back of the ship.
Hal can do that. Hal's doing a great job. I'm following, just whistling.
Okay, so as you're going through the room, Saruk, they grab Lucky and drag him away out of your vision. Lucky's being dragged. Yeah, he follows behind, and you kind of are able. There's even like a spiral staircase that goes from the lounge straight down to the deck, where you don't have to drag him through the middle of the ship where everyone can see. I think as you're going down the hall, he sort of like is kicking and screaming, trying to make as much noise as he can by kicking the walls, hitting the walls, but he gets dragged out, and there's a scene out on the open air, right? Describe exactly what's going on, Hal.
Hal is going to drag him and look poignantly at Vashon as he drags him through the dining room, because he's not going to go down a spiral staircase, and then drag him out and hang him over the edge. He's going to probably pull his snap leaf out and put it on his chest and say, I'm going to let you go. And either you can fall or you can tell me what's going on.
The snap leaf, that's the thing that will like let you fall, and like what do you call it? Like the feather fall type
Feather
thing?
fall. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, make well, this is definitely a coerce action.
It is, with a +1 even.
Coerce with help from Saruk.
Saruk is just towering over everyone.
It comes down to an intimidation check.
All right.
Oh, sure. When Hal threatens violence, everyone gets in on it. But when Reffy does it, no, I'm the bad guy.
One. Add.
Ooh. Oh. Only +1. I was like, wow, 17 on the dice. +1. You're good at making like scary, intimidating things, but I think you're too nice, Hal. People just aren't sure that you actually have the guts to follow through on your threats or something, because you don't have the bonuses to back up the awesome things you're setting up.
Except for to let him go.
Probably even the clue and circumstance bonus. I think that the circumstance bonus is a little higher, hanging someone off the edge of the ship, you know?
+9 status bonus for impending death.
I'll give it +2, which brings it to a 19. So let's see. This targets his will save, right?
You know what? If that's the case, I realize I have a thing that I could do. Don't mind me as I'm pulling everything that I can.
22, and you get a 19. Okay.
Anita just looks at Ruffy. It's because you kill people after you intimidate him, Ruffy.
It's a long way down.
At a certain point, people have to know that you're willing to follow through for the intimidation to be successful.
So you do this whole thing. There's a big buildup, and as you're hanging him there, you can tell like any pretense, any like bit of like friendliness that he's had with you has been spent in this action. Like this is like kind of like a final gambit, right? Like he basically is turned from being like neutral, unfriendly, and I think you see the anger in his eyes as he sort of switches from unfriendly to hostile with this action. And he just looks back at you and he says, if you're gonna do it, fucking do it. And he dares you to do it.
How does it?
Lucky, you watch as it disappears, like Lucky falls off the back of the ship.
He's hoping that man's is smart enough to use his reaction and use the snap leaf. Otherwise, it's going to be a short trip.
I'm googling snap leaf real quick.
I put it in the chat if you scroll up just a little bit.
Okay, it's not invested, right?
Right.
It's just a talisman. Okay. In the darkness, he drops down, he disappears down, starts falling towards the sky. Whether he activates it or not, it's pretty high up. It's hard to see. If somebody wants to peer over the edge and try to see, it's not apparent whether he actually activates it or if he plummets to his death.
I peer over the edge.
The person who we establish is Airship peers over the edge.
Hit! There's a thing on your chest!
You criminal scum.
Give me that perception check.
Halbrand, I didn't think you had it in you.
Natural 20!
Natural 20! Now you hit the natural 20. Yeah, so you definitely see. It's hard to see as you look over the edge. You don't even have like full on dark vision, but you have slight low light vision, I think. But yeah, you do notice it does activate. Look, once he's fallen a fair bit of distance, and he is going to survive his fall. At least he's not going to hit the ground. He's going to be stranded in the middle of the desert, right?
We're gonna go pick him up.
Yeah. Honestly, I like your approach. Is this what they call frontier justice? Turns to Reffy.
You might be on the right idea here, Hal. We don't really need a bartender cook to fly this contraption, do we, Annie?
I think you can answer that question yourself.
Look, I'm not the brains here, right? I just want to double check.
So we're leaving the man just in the desert, where a reindeer lion with wings could eat him.
Or they find a caravan, or they find a settlement. If they did
That's one suspect where we know for sure can't do any more damage to the ship. Now, how much crew do we need to actually fly this thing? And did the passengers pay up front? And I turn and look towards the rest of the passengers. I mean, I don't see another way we get to the bottom of this until they get to the bottom down there. So, who wants to speak up?
Is this you trying to scare all the passengers?
If I can.
There is a very hushed room of people that are like gone pale white as they just watch you push this man to his death off the airship. Right? They're not entirely sure about the whole like activation thing and all of that happening. As far as they're concerned, you just pushed the crew member to their death, and none of these members are crew. This is all passengers. Kitty. And I think every single one of them is definitely looking at you very fucking scared right now.
If anyone has anything they'd like to share, now would be the time. Because I feel like we need to lighten our load.
I think at this, Saruk will cut Reffy off. The man will survive. If he did it, then we don't have to worry about him anymore, and we will track him down when we land. If he did not do it, Saruk lets the implication hang.
Why don't you give an intimidation check, Reffy? Just, I know you don't have like group intimidation or anything, but just a general menacing intimidation moment here.
And I kind of lean over. Saruk, you're not supposed to tell him that he's going to survive.
And you're not supposed to be a fucking psychopath.
That's debatable.
Just glare and then go back to PR mode.
I think at this point, Hal's going to walk to the captain, the Dansby, and tell him we need to like spiral down to the desert floor and pick up something.
So there is a moment where Reffy does this. Every single like of these passengers, they're all like looking back and forth. You got the couple looking at each other, looking at Gattleby. Gattleby's like staring off, like shaking his head out the window. And Celessa is sort of like giving you guys like kind of a nod of approval. She's got a drink in her hand. She's like, she likes your tactics. But nobody seems to cop to anything, Reffy. And then like Saruk is there kind of like, oh yeah, he's gonna survive. And everyone sort of plays, and Hal pushes through this sort of scene up to the front, because you got to walk through everyone, get to the sort of captain's like thing, and the door is like locked, right? Desmond's in there, he's flying the ship, the door behind him is locked, so you'd have to like basically knock to get access. You can't just walk into the captain's quarters or the flight deck.
I'll knock.
So there's like so you hear like yes, is everything all right back there?
Nope, somebody fell overboard.
Immediately, like, you hear the locks on the inside, like, a panic. Desmond is like, say that again. Somebody fell overboard. He's looking past you to see what's going on.
Yeah, they fell overboard with help, but fortunately, I was able to clamp a snap leaf on their suit, and Anita said he floated down, so we need to do some circles and spiral down, pick him up.
All right. He kind of goes, and you see him. He goes up, and he's got this handle, and he like pulls it, and it's like it's almost like an air horn sounds, and he does like 3 short pulls.
I'm gonna stop him. What do you?
I got to signal the crew. The goblins gotta. If we're going down and turn around, I'm gonna need them to start letting out some of the gas.
I don't want Farah waking up while she's asleep. She seems to be ornery when she's a little tired.
Do you think you can handle the controls for a minute?
Yes.
Oh,
he says
We're
thanks.
stealing an airship.
no, we're crashing an airship.
Pushes past you and leaves. Like how you look up, you're in the middle of the flight deck of this thing. There's like a big wheel that you can use to sort of steer the rudders. On the side of you, there's all kinds of gauges. There's at least like 6, 7 gauges, each with different numbers on it. On the left side, there's some other like weird turn wheel and a bunch of levers and buttons you can push. And everything's kind of flashing and steaming and buzzing. And for the moment, you find yourself here at the helm of the Second Kiss.
So when I see Homie come out and go up the stairs, Ruffy, don't say anything else fucking stupid. I'm going to make sure we don't die.
What Saruk sees is Hal has removed his rope around his blanket, and he's tied it to a piece of mechanism and the wheel, and he's leaning against the rail smoking a cigarette. Like, no clue what he's doing.
Halbert Beastwood, by each and every god, get out of my way right now. And I'm gonna just grab the wheel.
Yeah. I mean, the real lucky thing here, and you have your pilot lore trained for the day, so you know this, like...
Not for this situation, but for an adjacent one. But here we are.
Yeah, but, like, there's very little that can be done. Very little that needs to be done to just keep sort of going, right? You got the airship that floats. You can kind of maybe guide it, and really the real thing here is the pilot needs to basically find a way to not fight the wind too much, kind of use the wind to help guide it and avoid the like most turbulent airs. But otherwise, without someone actively trying to sabotage this, it's not like there's a yoke that you can pull to like nosedive into the ground here. It's relatively harmless. But there is an emergency button over there on that side that if you push, you know, would immediately like detach the entire cabin from the like balloon above. It just free fall you guys to the ground, and it's like right where like Hal's sort of like coat is like tossed over the chair.
I'm just gonna move the coat gingerly away. Why is that? Oh, we're flying and there's an emergency. Better detach the fucking battle bridge. Sure, why not?
It looks like there's usually like a protective thing that goes over it so it doesn't accidentally get pushed. It's long been broken off and not replaced.
And now I am telling OSHA.
I look at Saruk and I say, well, I don't think he did it. And he's never going to say, I won't do something again once we pick him up. But do you think the captain had anything, or that Dandy had anything to do with this?
Maybe the blonde, but I doubt it. The blonde was, well, I guess you were within an inch of Pharasma, so you wouldn't know, but they were in there the whole time. That guy definitely did it. All of the clues point to him. Captain wants evidence, and evidence is, well, the gears, I suppose. Chain plus gears definitely puts him there. Let's see what he says after we pick him up.
Yeah.
So there's this sort of like montage scene where Dezen goes up and tells the goblins that they need to like let out the gas so they can descend. The goblins are like cursing at him, throwing tools at him. They have to like basically to like descend, they need to like let out the gas, and they only leave with so much gas sort of done. So like inflating and deflating, going up and down is kind of tough for them. Like it's like you're losing some resources to do this, but they can do it. It's not like they bought just enough to get where you're going. They have reserves, so they're able to do it. they agree to not, make a big deal of it at the moment. Although, very clearly somebody's going to report it to Farrah the next day. But they're willing to let her sleep and wake up and get the report when she does. So yeah, you are able to circle back around, descend, and go back. But like as you kind of go low over the spell-scarred desert, and here in like the pitch black, it becomes very hard to like see where this guy might even be.
I have dark vision.
I have a
Just
scout
found
sitting
out.
right next to me.
So if everyone would like to make perception checks, if there's any other features or abilities you have that you can use to help this out, like finding, tracking, things like that.
I mean, I think what we could do, as I'm moving the ship down, if Hal is up here, there's this handy periscope.
There is.
Could we maybe have a bigger field of view and be scanning as we go?
I'll give you a circumstance bonus for using the little Oculus device.
I can see in darkness as if it were dim light, and I can see in dim light as if it were bright light.
Okay, so it definitely is like dim light because it's pure darkness out here in the desert. So you're seeing in terms of like dim light.
I'll aid Hal.
Anita's looking with Anita's roll. She sees nothing as you guys circle back around towards where he might be.
Would I also have helped the goblins when it came to deflating and going lower for this man?
I think the goblins are very protective, especially with the sabotage that's happened and you being a suspect. They are not very receptive to you being in their workspace. However, Dezen is fine. He's more than willing to have you on the flight deck and kind of show you from the pilot's perspective how he does things.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there learning.
That's fine. But I think the goblins are a little suspicious of you right now. So far, I have a roll from Anita. Anyone else doing active rolls?
Yeah, I was gonna do an active roll.
You can get an item bonus from the sort of scout, like the instruments on the flight deck. Saruk's giving a circumstance bonus.
I suppose if I can while I'm landing, I'll...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Dezen was really only excusing himself for enough time to let the goblins know what's up, and then he returned to the flight deck to sort of take captain's duties. So he's taking primary flight. You guys just kind of held the bridge down while he went to do it. By the way, like if there's an active sabotager and he just left you guys on the flight deck. If you were the sabotagers, you could have easily just like taken down the ship.
Ah, shit, we got a TPK. Damn it. I should have rolled that in secret. This might be.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. With the 25, I think you would have basically like scanned the distance. I think as you guys circle back around, there's almost like a lost bit of hope because there's like no sign of him for like the longest time. And it's not until like Saruk just catches just the sort of glint, almost like a little bit of light like glinting off of something. And it kind of catches your eye and you kind of like zoom in and you can see what looks like just a small speck sort of in the middle of this like like the desert, and it looks like there's just the faintest bit of like footsteps in the sand like leading towards them. You think you've at least found his trail and possibly where he is off in the distance. You barely like picked up a small bit. Yeah,
Over that way, there's no way in each and every hell I'm going to catch somebody out there. I think I'll give you guys cover from up top. And back I go to...
the only person that caught any sign as everyone was doing it was Saruk. You're the only one that got any sign of where he is. But with that, you're able to at least steer the ship towards it. But I think the interesting thing is as the ship sort of continues towards it, it doesn't, either he doesn't see you or he doesn't want to see you and he's ignoring you and just kind of like walking.
Could I use my academia lore to go back into my knowledge of physics and figure and triangulate maybe where this person would have landed?
As you're saying that, they're over there. I've got it. You
Oh,
nerd.
never mind. Like, weight, wind, speed.
Yes, you're wonderful. I grabbed the Giselle back from Refi. Don't kill him unless he attacks you first, and then
All right, let's go get him.
I will keep watch from the ballista.
Yeah. Are you guys? So you guys actually like land the ship and get out?
Can it be hovering in case we get chased?
I feel like hovering is smarter.
It can be hovering, although the only way on or off the ship is basically these loading docks that fold out from the bottom floor. They open and slide down, almost like a loading dock. So you'd have to like, if somebody has like a rope ladder or something, you could kick a rope ladder over the side down, but it's not equipped with one of those. It's only equipped with loading ramps.
Ladder. I don't have a rope.
Blast boots.
The way it normally works, right, is it gets really close to the ground. It still is technically hovering, but you're talking like you're hovering so low that the loading ramp like goes all the way down to the dirt. So if you're fine with that, it's still hovering. It's not like tied down. They basically go really low, and then somebody goes down with a rope and anchors it to stuff when it wants to stay permanently. So you guys can just have it sort of lower enough for the ramp to drop. You can get off and then not tie it off, and it just sort of will be a little bit with the breeze. It's not secured or anything, but it's possible.
I think that's okay. Yeah.
I think we're good. I'll go out and tie a rope to it.
No, I'm done with you people. Go away. He's just like storming away from you.
I'm not going to live out here. You'll either go back, and I will apologize, but you got to admit I'm a man of my word.
You fucking pushed me off the ship. Yeah, you told me you were going to do it. I didn't believe you.
Well, do you believe me now?
Well, yeah, but that's why I don't want to be on a fucking ship with you.
I'll apologize. You're not going to live out here, and that is the truth.
It's very fucking cold out here, by the way. And he's like, looks like he's about.
The man's made up his mind, Hal. Just leave him. I mean, he obviously doesn't want to be able to buy his airship anymore. He doesn't want to get the gold that Muglin promised to pay him. So, we'll just leave him and go. We made our best effort to get him, didn't we not?
You hear he says like, make it, you know what? Make a diplomacy check, Ruffy.
Ooh.
I think that's... I know it's not your strong suit, but I think...
If anyone watching has any channel points, this would be the time to maybe get me a hero point. Alright, let's go with that big old +2 bonus.
Look at Walt the Heisenberg 010.
Thank you, Heisenberg. I'm not sure I can do much better, but we'll see. Come on, nat 20.
Come on. Fuck.
it was so close to a nat 20. I was watching the dice and it almost tipped over.
We're so good at Pathfinder.
I mean, we are until someone starts threatening the whole fucking crew.
He spins around. He's like, I don't know. Mugland. Who's Mugland? You want to know what I was... Look, come here. I got to show you something. And you see him like sort of going into his pockets like he's looking for something.
I just immediately reach for my gun as soon as he notices.
Yeah.
It's that meme.
You go for the gun. He's walking right at you, Hal, and he's like patting his like chest like he's looking for something as he's like stomping, like basically like kind of like coming right at you, Hal, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking show you what I'm talking about. What is Hal doing? Ruffy's got the gun out. Are you...
I mean, I go put my hand towards my hip, ready to draw when...
Saruk's on the ballista with it loaded, like trained right on this guy. What's Anita doing?
I'm with Wybert.
Are you on the ship?
Oh.
Or did you go down?
Where is Wybert, by the way? Where is my pride and joy?
He's in your lounge because he's so big. He's just kind of like stuck in a corner of the lounge. It's the only space big enough for him.
Got it. So I'd probably be on like the top of the loading dock with a clear view on them. So I'm in between everyone else. Yeah.
So how he's coming at you and he's like, you can just see the frustration is built over. He's promising to show you something. Why don't...
I think Hal will turn into a very large white wolf in man form.
Ooh.
Oh, when I say that, can I also like just hold on to my bottled lightning?
Sure. Yeah. I think they're pretty far off the ship, though. They've walked like probably well over 100 feet from the edge of the ship, especially with it drifting and them out there. You're definitely not close enough to like throw it, but you're close enough to have a sight of what's going on, right?
Okay.
I think he comes at you guys. Ruffy and Hal, why don't you give me a perception check? Actually, Saruki, you can give me a perception check too. Anita, why don't you give me a perception check as well?
28.
10.
Finally, natural 20 for 30.
Nice. Ooh, okay, so here's what happens. You got a natural 20 for 30. That's really good. In this case, everyone rolled pretty good except for Anita, who's completely like squinting, like, what's going on out there? What is happening is that this is an initiative roll against Lucky.
Oh.
And these are this perceptions you rolled is your initiative roll. And his initiative is being done by his deception check, which is up till now private. And I will now reveal it to everyone. He rolled a
Plus
31.
13.
Coward.
Which beat all of you.
A 13?
What I'm gonna do is
But does my natural 20 count as bumping it up to a critical success for something?
not for initiatives, unfortunately.
That's disappointing.
I think you do get the sense your natural 20 beats the fact that he's doing something. And I think you realize a moment too late that he's going for a blade in his under his pocket. And as it comes out, you're kind of surprised. You react to it, but he's faster with his reaction. Any pretense of this bumbling, stuttering idiot is out the window as he catches you all off guard. He's focused on Hal with intent. And he's going to go first. So just to make it easier, have everyone come down to the bottom floor of the ship so we can all be on the same map for this Theater of the Mind initiative.
Which means I need to be on the flight deck.
Yes, the second kiss flight deck. And then you can add yourself to initiative once you're down here.
I'm hoping I can just drag myself out. Right? No. Damn.
I'll copy paste you and I will pull. Yeah, everyone pulled the scene. Okay, so you should. So now you guys, I will set all your rolls that we had as your initiative rolls. So let me just do that. Ruffy initiative. Lucky initiative. Anita initiative. Saruk initiative.
Everybody would get a +2 for scouting.
Ooh, that's
12.
true.
Ooh,
That
so
gives
Ruffy
me
has
that
32.
makes it 32.
It does beat him. That is true.
Yes.
That is really cool. So I'll just roll for the.
So then that gives me a number, which I know where it is. 30.
So this is actually true because of the bonus provided by Hal and his scouting. You can see that he's going for a blade and he's ready to like basically put it into Hal, but you're fast enough to react first.
I knew it was you all along, you little bastard.
What would you like to do?
First, free action, draw my pistol. Part of my gunslinger's talent. Second action, I would like to take a free stride action towards an enemy that I can see. How far away is he?
From you and Hal, like he's basically right on Hal. He's no more than like 30 feet away from you at this point.
So would I be able to get to him in one stride action?
I think you would have stayed close enough to Hal that you would have been able to cover him, yeah.
Right. So I'm going to see the glint of the blade, rush up and draw my pistol. And as I get there, I'm going to shoot him in the knee.
Poor Lucky Lynx.
Poor fucking nothing. That guy's guilty as sin.
Yes, he is.
And now we have evidence. He tried to
That's
kill
a
us.
29.
29 is a hit, but not a crit.
Oh no.
All right, he takes the full 7 points of damage.
He is now flat-footed to my next melee strike, which I will do right now with a reloading strike.
Ooh. That's a critical hit. Not on the gunshot, unfortunately, but still a critical hit.
Ah, shit. I forgot to say I wanted to do non-lethal. That's why I wanted to punch him, but it's all right.
We just said it was non-lethal. Ta-da!
I mean, melees are non-lethal by default, right?
Martial arts dedication.
Yeah, there's not a penalty to going to non-lethal.
Got it. It has the
trait.
non-lethal tag. Yeah, okay, got it. So you say this is non-lethal?
Yes.
Wow, Ruffy is growing. Character development.
Is he?
Go ahead.
No, he also wants to be proven right. So,
Yeah, I fucking did.
14 points of damage, and they must succeed on a. Do I get critical plus? No, I'm only an expert, not master. So,
I mean, it's giving it to you, so I think if you have expert, I think it does trigger. We looked this up last time, right? It had to do with something. I think the brawling focus gives you the critical specialization in all monsters.
that's right. That's right. Yep.
So, yeah, so he does need to make the fortitude save.
Mm-hmm.
That is a critical failure. So he is slowed.
Liar!
So your strike stuns him,
Mm-hmm.
slowing him.
And for my third action, I'm going to use Intimidating Glare.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, also I'm gonna say something too, but I want to use Intimidating Glare. I'm gonna say, how do you think this is gonna end, friend? There's no one here to hear you scream.
Make the intimidation check. Wow, you're on a roll, man. That is a success, but not a critical success. So he also becomes feared one.
And that's my turn.
Great round.
Refi's done with all this talking and investigating. Let's figure this out with our.
I think the blade starts coming at Hal, right? But you've intercepted him, you've blasted him, you've punched him, you've stunned him, you've frightened him. He's like a little bit dazed. I think he only has 2 actions to spend because of this. So I think his first action is to draw the dagger that he has. Is drawing a weapon a manipulate action?
Yes.
I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
It is.
So this is a manipulate action, which does trigger an opportunity attack for Hal.
I would like to take it.
Is he flat-footed?
Oh, it's only to my melee strike. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Unless demoralized.
No, I think it was just the. Yeah, I don't think he's. Yeah, he's frightened. Yeah, he's not flat-footed or anything. All right, go ahead and make that attack, Hal. I heard. Woo! That's a 33, which is absolutely a critical hit.
Another slowed.
Let's see those crits in chat, everybody.
Another failure, which takes him slowed 1, but he's already slowed 1, so he just stays slowed 1 until the end of your next turn. Another crit, wow. But since it's a crit and it's a manipulate action, it interrupts the manipulate action, which means he can't actually get the dagger drawn. So then his third action is, I guess his third action is to just draw it again. He actually goes for it, draws it, and he's getting ready to stab you, but you can tell he's so woozy that he can't actually do anything, and he spends his whole turn just drawing the weapon. Saruk, sitting on top of the ship with the ballista, trained right on this dude.
Hockey dokie. So I didn't want to cut off the roleplay, but in the intervening space, Saruk loads the ballista, points it, is holding the Giselle two-handed, and at the start of the turn, untap, upkeep, devise a stratagem.
Sheesh!
31.
Oh my
A
God.
31, you say. So +1 from the item bonus. Would a 32 hit this man's?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how far the ship actually, because we said Anita's like 100 feet away, and your range is what?
Range of the Giselle is
180.
Oh, okay.
180 you said last time?
No,
Right.
that's the backpack low says 180. Giselle is like 100, something like.
Gotcha. 120?
Here, I'll pop it up real quick. They may or may not be in my second range increment.
Actually, I don't think it even matters, even if they are. Yeah, that is going to hit. In fact, it's a crit.
Ooh. Woo!
Thank you. I appreciate it.
More crits
Okay,
in chat.
so-
More crits in chat.
More crits in chat.
So many.
This guy, this is what he gets for fucking gaslighting us for 3 hours.
Yeah.
With his
Okay.
plus 13 deception. He's pretty good at it.
Finding all the buttons, making sure I'm holding it right, because Giselles have a very big, very scary fatal D12. And Devise a Strat is on. This is also non-lethal because of that feat I took at level 1. That's 2d12 plus 2d6 plus 1d12 times 2.
Lord.
To his
Shit.
face, he takes 58 points of damage.
All right, you guys watch us from the top of the ship, watching this unfold. Perfectly timed. Saruk hits Lucky with a non-lethal critical hit, dealing 58 points of damage. Combined with every bit of damage you guys have done so far, it just is enough to drop Lucky as you watch his his eyes roll back and he crumbles to your feet, Hal and Refi, unconscious. The dagger sort of drips from his hand, and as you see, like looking at it, the edge of the blade looks coated in some sort of poison.
Ooh.
And at this, Saruk is going to go down and wake the captain.
He'll change back into himself and disarm him of anything lethal, clean out his pockets, just everything, since I can see in the dark.
He's got definitely got like a little coat pistol hidden in his pocket. He's got the dagger that he's already dropped. He's got a freaking short sword tucked into the back. It's still holstered. And in his pockets, he's got like a little hidden thing of thieves' tools. He's got a vial of some sort of green liquid that looks to be poison. And he's got a weird sort of, it's a feathery token. It looks like to be a feather from some sort of exotic bird. And the tip of it is just dipped in gold and has a little rune carved on it.
And then we will tie him up and take him back.
I'm just going to drop everything he has into your inventory, Hal.
I want to make sure to keep it on him.
Oh, I see.
Evidence, right?
Evidence-wise, yeah, I see. Okay. So I'll put it on you just so you can see it, but then he's, carrying it. So, yeah, you wake up Farah, and she's immediately upset that you guys have, stopped the ship. She wants to know what's going on. She crawls out of bed. She's she's half groggy. She gets up. She's still, wearing, her pajamas are, half hanging off her, but she stops, lights up a cigarette. What the fuck is going on? Immediately pulls the robe on, stomps out. Show me.
I'll heal him for 1d8 of health. Just 1d8. There you go. He's awake.
So he's awake. You've taken everything away from him, in terms of him being able to hurt you. He's holding it, but you guys have him tied up. He's not able to do anything. You've already kicked his ass, right? He's completely defeated, deflated. He's lying there, crying on the floor at your feet. Saruk's bringing Farah down. You guys are there with him right before that happens. Do you guys do or say anything in those moments before Farah shows up?
I don't think so.
Just waiting.
Yep. I was not the investigator.
But you got it fucking done, didn't you?
Hmm.
It's time to
The
tell the
eater.
truth, friend.
Right. And Farah is just spill it, right? All right, I admit it. I got hired to sabotage this journey.
By whom?
Rhymes with Ambrose Mugland.
I don't know any Mugland, all right? I don't even know who this dude was. He just showed up and said he had an opportunity for me. Paid me a whole bunch of money. Just said, make sure the ship doesn't get past Cloud Reaver Keep, all right? That's it.
Describe them.
Dressed really nice clothes. Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure they said they work for the Gilded Gunners.
Buzz go the bumblebees.
They sought me out. They said they had an opportunity. They gave me your descriptions. I said, yes, they're going to be on the ship. They said I'm not to let the ship get past Cloud Reaver Keep. Stall them. I wasn't going to hurt anyone. You got to believe me.
I would, but you don't know the half. Captain, what do we do with him?
Leave him.
Very well.
Ooh.
And I think Hal will change into his wolf form and start howling as if to call the wolves of the desert towards the prey and go back.
Now we
onto the
take all the
ship.
good stuff out of his pockets.
After we strip him down to his underwear.
Yeah, and as you howl out in the distance, right, there is the small sort of howl off in the distance and come back like a very guttural howl of some large creature that has been, not summoned, but at least alerted, called, talked to. in your experience, Hal, it won't be long before they come investigating to see what's going on. And he stops. No, please, please, let me. You can't leave me out here.
It's not up to me. It's up to your boss.
His eyes plead at every single one of you. Does everyone just turn around and leave him? Like,
I give him a ration.
very nice, considerate of you.
You're welcome.
I just grin at him.
Actually, Saruk stops short and then turns around because he had a really good idea. This is a point of question. Is there anyone else on the ship who is working for the Gilded Gunners?
Great question.
Thanks. I thought of it on the spur of the moment. 32.
Plus 13.
Let's see. The question is he telling the truth? Is he lying? He looks at you and he says, I mean, the crew's cool. It's just you. I was just targeted for you. The crew's, they're all clean. Now let me on, please. I answered your question. And he like tries to step on the platform with you, Saruk. And as he says that, you 100% believe him. There's nothing in what he's saying that seems untruthful to you.
It's just the crew, though.
Now we're being paranoid, Nina.
Oh, sorry.
Or maybe not. Is Farad like still on the when Foot is coming on?
I mean, she's already sort of like walked up to the top of the thing and she's ready to like lift the gate and leave him to his demise, right? She's like, Saruk, leave him.
The captain has made their decision.
He made his choice. Yeah, the sort of like gate comes up. He's like trying to like get in. The ship sort of floats off without him. And he's like, I think the last shot is him sort of in the desert. The ship leaving him. He's running after it. He's dropped his ration in the sun or in the sand. And he sort of like is chasing after you. He stumbles and he falls face first into the dirt and the sand. And he's breathing heavily. There's like the high moon, the heavy moon high in the sky. And he's breathing. And then all you just hear is sort of like a growling noise. And we don't even really see it. We just see his face look sideways and go like a wide-eyed episode. I think the last thing we see from that like sort of blackness is sort of like it's like a scream in silence. And then sort of a last shot of the sort of airship coming into Cloud Reaver Keep that night, docking at the bay. You've reached Cloud Reaver Keep. You've successfully negated the danger to the crew and to the ship that was posed by the Inside Man, thanks to your very thorough investigation. And yeah, we arrive at Cloud Reaver Keep, giving you guys a chance to sort of resupply, pick up anything you need. Farah just says that, we're going to stay here for maybe like 3-4 hours, buy what you need, and then we're off. Next stop, the Cradle of Quartz. And yeah, you've done it. I will say, we lost Tommy, but I will say you did manage to avert quite a bit of chaos by solving this mystery ahead of time. Like he would have definitely done some more shenanigans that are not going to happen because you guys sussed him and threw him off the ship. What do you call it? You
ejected him.
You ejected him, and it said, bloop, 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 bloop. Lucky was the imposter. Yep. So thank you for joining us on tonight's episode of Among Us. We'll go ahead and do a quick sign off and hopefully he jumps back in. But that's going to do it for us this week on Alkenstar, guys. Big thanks to Nina, Richard, Ricardo, Tommy for playing with me, and Nina for being back. And that was a lot of fun. And thank you, Elon Musk, for giving us material for the start of our our scripts. And thank you, Molten Hosting, for sponsoring tonight's episode, for sponsoring all our episodes, and for giving us a chance. Check them out at moltenhosting.com and use the referral code RecallKnowledge.
One
word. You can get a free month of hosting. The people I want to thank the most right now, especially as we're going to a new month in December, is our patrons. You guys are amazing and awesome and help support everything we do. And I'm going to shout you out really quick as the list comes by.
Patrons!
Yeah, for all of our patrons, the map pack will be going up tomorrow. So if you're watching live on Twitch, it'll be up tomorrow. And if you are watching later on YouTube, it's already out there. Go to the Patreon and check out the map pack. Rick made some awesome maps. So thanks to our patrons, current patrons right now, David Sims, Jason Irvin, Mark Paquette, Awal Jalil, Derek Southworth, Ellie Boyle, Jay, Paul G, Sandra Wagner, and Sam Skaggs. You guys are all awesome and amazing, and thanks for supporting us. And hopefully you're enjoying all your map packs. Rick, you got a couple of Spellscar Desert map packs. If I had known you were going to eject someone off the ship tonight, I would have set up one of those battle maps and we could have previewed it. Unfortunately, I was not prepared for you to just drop him off the airship.
Refy's having far too much influence on this part.
It was a power move. I really think it was awesome. I just didn't think Hal had the guts to actually do it.
Well, he knew that he had that snap leaf. He was going to put it on him and send him off.
You didn't kill him, but you did let him go. That was impressive.
Man of his word.
Mm-hmm.
We won't kill you, but we don't have to save you.
The Batman move. This Friday, check out House Divided, episode 2. We'll be playing some 5th edition D&D, and we'll be doing some spooky, haunted, scary house searching, which is perfect for Christmas, I guess. Tommy's not here to shout himself out, but go check him out at Black Dragon Gaming, patreon.com/Black Dragon Gaming, Black Dragon Gaming on YouTube. He put up a video this morning. I saw it. It's his Wednesday. He does a video on Wednesdays. I don't have exactly what it is off the top of my head, but he does cool lore deep dives into the lore of this game. So let me look it up. Black Dragon Gaming, today's video.
Did a video on Vinesh Vaki.
How do you say that? Vinesh Vaki. An afternoon worship looking at one of the deities. He did a look. They did a look at the Goran from last week. Yeah, go check out Tommy's work at Black Dragon Gaming and sign up for his
Patreon.
Yeah, the Patreons get subscriptions. Professional paid jamming. You want a good game? Tommy's has it for you. We're going to be back next Wednesday, December 14th at 7 o'clock for more Outlaws of Alkenstar. A nice, smooth ride to the Cradle of Quartz. Nothing is anymore. No internal strife, at least. That's going to do it for us. Everyone, make sure you guys tune in next week. Until our next stream, stay safe, stay healthy, and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yippee-ki-yay,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.